and welcome. You're watching UTV Live at 6.
Good evening. These are the stories making the headlines.
How could their son's body spend 13 months in a Dublin morgue? A West Belfast family demand answers from the Gardaí.
Because of how this has been mishandled, we haven't been able to mourn or grieve Jim in any way that could be remotely perceived as normal.
One family tells UTV that constant parking problems at the Royal Victoria Hospital have left them in tears.
With some retail parks reporting record figures, where does that leave the future of our high streets?
Also tonight, we look back at the prestigious career of 6-time Superbike champion Johnny Ray.
And we have some low cloud, mist and fog on the way this weekend, and we also have further showers at times. I'll have all of the details later in the programme.
A father whose son's lifeless body was found in a Dublin park just over a year before he was told he had died says the authorities' failure to identify him stripped him of his dignity.
UTV can also exclusively reveal that leading pathologist Professor Jack Crane carried out a second autopsy on Jim O'Neill's remains, raising serious questions about the original post-mortem examination. The family is set to meet the Garda Ombudsman on Monday. Our crime and security correspondent Sharon O'Neill has this special report.
We just don't think that it's right that anyone should be subject to this type of disregard.
This father is still in deep shock. Told his eldest son had died was bad enough, but that he had been a nameless body in a morgue for over a year, simply too much.
They said they just weren't allowed to let us look at Jim, so we couldn't touch him, we couldn't look at him, we couldn't say goodbye to him. And he came in a closed coffin. That was difficult. It's just something that we have to accept and learn to live with.
Jim was a father who lived a nomadic lifestyle, often camping outside. He didn't even have a phone, but his family were well used to him going off-grid.
We would have worried about Jim, you know, where is he and what's he doing? At the same time, we knew he was someone who was resilient, capable, resourceful, and very intelligent man. And we always just thought, Jim will be okay, Jim can look after himself. But as it turned out, we were wrong.
The O'Neills were told that Jim was dead in December 2024. The fact of the matter is, he died a full year before that in Phoenix Park, Dublin, with the authorities missing basic opportunities to identify him. So, what were those basic opportunities? Jim had various IDs in his pockets, the one that would eventually lead police to the family's door here in West Belfast. The coroner in Dublin has since apologised for that. Meanwhile, the original post-mortem examination was inconclusive. This report, the findings of a new autopsy carried out by eminent pathologist Professor Jack Crane. He raised deep concerns about the original post-mortem and the possibility that Jim's clothes were still on when it was carried out.
I think it's very important that lessons are learned from this. It obviously won't bring Jim back, and the O'Neill family have been caused considerable distress, further distress and unnecessary distress by the shortcomings that have been identified already.
Jim's death is not being treated as suspicious. Gardaí said it can't comment because the Garda Ombudsman is investigating. We also contacted the coroner for Dublin. No comment there, as an inquest has not yet taken place.
Well, Jim was someone who is of value. He was of worth. He was someone. We loved him. He had many friends that loved him. And all we're asking for. And we're probably going by that point that he's treated with the respect and dignity that he or anyone in death deserves.
Paul O'Neill ending that report. Both patients and those who work at the Royal Victoria Hospital in Belfast are having serious issues with parking.
One Lisburn mother whose son Owen has complex medical needs said that she was reduced to tears while waiting for over an hour in a queue to the car park for an important appointment, which was then cancelled. Unison has told UTV that staff are also facing problems with capacity, as Eden Wilson reports.
When Owen isn't at school or playing with mummy, he's in hospital for an appointment.
The first year that he came home from hospital, we had 250 appointments across various different clinics and hospitals in Northern Ireland. So unfortunately, I'm intimately familiar with the car parks across most of them.
Would you say, parking-wise, the Royal is the worst?
Yeah, without a doubt, absolutely. Royal fills me with dread every single time.
Last year, Owen had an important appointment at the Royal, one he waited almost 2 years for. Anne-Marie says she arrived 45 minutes early, but was stuck in a queue for the car park for over an hour.
I think I would have needed to have been in that queue for about 2 hours in order to have made it in time. And logistically, that would have been very challenging for us to do that. And if I'm honest, it takes a lot to upset me, to annoy me. It does. But I sat in the car park and cried that day. It was so frustrating, the amount of effort and time that it had taken to get us there. And it didn't matter. We didn't see the consultant that day and still haven't.
Anne-Marie says finding a disabled parking space is also difficult.
There's a sign up, and we noticed it when we were in hospital when Owen was born 12 years ago, that says, we recognise that there are delays and we're working on it. And as far as I can see, not one single thing has changed since then.
Parking at the Royal is also affecting those who work there. Unison says there just aren't enough spaces.
There should be also the discussion around doing things differently. There should be in regards to, essentially from a patient's perspective, everybody's coming in at a certain time, whether it be between 8:30 and 5 o'clock. And if things are done differently and services are offered differently through different times, then this has positive indirect consequences on staff being able to get spaces, because spaces are freed up, because there isn't a huge amount of people all trying to cram into the Royal site between 9 o'clock and 5 o'clock.
In a statement, the Belfast Trust apologised to patients and families who have experienced lengthy queues. It said, unfortunately, and particularly at peak times, demand exceeds the existing car park provision. There has been an increase in blue badge spaces on the site in response to growing demand from patients, visitors and staff.
Who's that?
Anne-Marie and her husband now both have to take the day off work when Owen has an appointment at the Royal to ensure he makes it on time. The parking issue for both patients and staff is yet to be resolved. Eden Wilson, UTV Live.
A man and a woman who died in a two-vehicle car crash in County Antrim almost a week ago have been remembered as hard-working, beautiful and vibrant by their parish priest.
Catherine Quinos Cinco, who was 7 months pregnant, and her husband, Ralph Anthony Cinco, died following a collision on the Moira Road near Nuts Corner on Sunday. Nearly £70,000 has been raised online to return their remains to the Philippines for their funerals. Daniel Duffy reports.
A couple who had so much to look forward to. Catherine Kith Canino Cinco and her husband Ralph Anthony Cinco's lives were cut short in a tragic road traffic collision on Sunday, along with their unborn baby Kate. The Ligoneel community in North Belfast has been in mourning since. Many have contributed to repatriate their bodies back to their native Philippines.
A real deep-rooted, visceral grief, sadness and sorrow among especially the Filipino community, the family, of course, of those who sadly passed away, and the wider Ligoneel community. Kith and Ralph were two lovely young people. They were filled with energy And actually, Daniel, you know, they really loved each other. They're one of those married couples that just loved each other very much. They had been trying for a wee baby, and they had conceived 7 months ago, and little baby Kate was two months away from coming into this world. They were also joyful people, Daniel. They loved life. So they were exuberant, they were lively, they were just a lovely, genuine, warm, friendly young couple.
A vigil will be held at the St Vincent de Paul Church in Ligoniel on Sunday at 6:30 to allow the community to show solidarity with the family. Daniel Duffy, UTV Live in North Belfast.
The number of people who went out shopping last year fell amid rising profits for online retail giants.
However, despite the downturn, a number of large retail parks here are bucking the trend and seeing record numbers of people spending more. Here's our economics correspondent, Jordan Moats.
The convenience of online for some is hard to beat. A package ready for delivery within hours of order and brought straight to your door. These worldwide companies are seeing record profits, and for years, many said they would kill off in-person shopping. There can be no doubt there has been an impact, but there is a whole host of people who still prefer to take a trip to the shops.
I come shopping for clothes. I don't need them, which is lovely, so I'll just browse. If I see something that I really like, I'll buy it.
What difference does somewhere like this make compared to online? What
you get a chance and the opportunity to feel the product and, you know, what it's actually like, rather than trying to visualise what it's like from a photograph.
In-person shopping or online shopping, which do you prefer?
In person.
Why?
Well, you can see what you're buying.
Do you think there are better deals in shops, in real life shops, rather than online?
Probably better online, I would think. You can see and you can buy, you know.
But ultimately you prefer in person, do you?
Yeah, it's a day out, isn't it?
I'd rather see the thing and try it on. And
so online shopping's not for you then?
Oh no, definitely not.
Overall footfall fell slightly in 2025 across Northern Ireland, with the number of shoppers down nearly 2% here in December. But while those online giants are having record figures, so too are some large retail parks and shopping centres. With a collection of shops alongside restaurants and entertainment, these are fast becoming one-stop shop destinations.
Well, our figures were 19% up, again bucking the national trend. I think that was running about -3%, so we're significantly different on that. Online's been there for a long time, so people still want to come out, people still want to touch and feel, and certainly having that point of difference of something different, having the Santa Claus visiting over the Christmas period, entertainment in the scheme itself.
Places like this may be having record figures, but across the board, footfall is down. The battle with online is constant, and retailers are having to work harder to get people to spend more in person. There does appear to be one big casualty in all of this, the traditional high street. It's easy to blame those retail parks and online giants, but the reality is there are many difficulties.
And even in some of the town centres of our bigger towns, there's still an awful lot of vacancy there, and you know that is not going to be reversed by putting up posters to disguise the fact that shops are empty. And councils seem to be keen to put up posters to disguise empty shops, while on the other hand putting up the very rates that drive the shops to close in the first place.
With Christmas firmly in the rear-view mirror, retail is now in the middle of the traditional sale period before starting all over again for 2026. Jordan Moats, UTV Live.
Time now to tell you about our politics podcast. In the first episode of 2026, the UTV Talking Politics team, our political editor, Tracy McGee, and political correspondent, Vicky Hawthorne, look back at the political stories that have made the headlines, including the UUP leadership change. You can catch up on ITVX or wherever you get your podcasts.
Some of today's other news now, and a man in his 90s has died after a single vehicle road crash in Armagh last night. It happened in the Hamilton's Bon Road area just after 7:30. The man who was driving the car was taken to hospital but died from his injuries.
Detectives investigating the murder of Wayne Reid in Coleraine have been granted an extra 36 hours to question a 33-year-old man. Mr Reid, who was 43, was pronounced dead at an address in the Society Court area on Monday. Police say they believe he may have been involved in an altercation sometime between last Thursday and Saturday in the Society Court or Society Street areas.
A new dedicated body is to be set up to support controlled schools in Northern Ireland, which are state-funded, non-denominational and managed by the Education Authority. The Minister, Paul Given, said it's intended to deliver school improvement and governance support. The new organisation would have a remit that would mirror that of the Council for Catholic Maintained Schools.
Farmers play a crucial role in our rural communities, and for many of them there's no such thing as retirement.
A new safety campaign is targeting those older workers, encouraging them to be more aware of potential risks on the farm, as I've been finding out.
Back in the day, I'd have driven around these fields, not a bother.
Aimed at avoiding death and serious injury, this new campaign highlights the real dangers to older farmers. A response to the loss of 40 lives in a decade and the many more left injured.
Statistics will show, like, for every fatality, you've probably 8 or 9 near misses, and some of them actually not close to the near misses is actually people who have been injured, and a lot of them are life-changing injuries. You know, and especially with livestock, freshly calved cows, stuff like that, you react at times and then remember, you know, if a cow can react, and it's just by luck that something hasn't happened.
Farm Wiser to Farm Longer encourages farmers to take a moment to stop and think before doing high-risk jobs, and to also assess the dangers and the potential ways of keeping themselves safer.
Well, I mightn't look like it, but I'm getting that little bit older. It's affecting things like my hearing, my sight, my grip strength, and I have to be aware of that. Now, if you're a farmer, those are key things about looking after yourself. So, for example, I mightn't be able to get out of the way as quickly from an animal, or I mightn't be able to get a handbrake on just as easily, or squeeze a piece of equipment where I'm using a control. It could be a difficult message if it was a bad message, but what we're trying to come forward with today is actually a positive message for them, and it's about using wisdom and making simple changes that can make life easier and make life a lot safer for them.
None of this advice is about prohibiting farmers from doing what they love.
So in my experience, our older farmers are a resilient bunch, necessarily so, and also optimistic, because you have to be an optimist to be a farmer. And so whenever that translates into their health behaviours, inevitably I do see farmers coming in, but maybe at a later stage, whenever the problem's slightly harder to deal with. We're not here to stop anybody farming. We're here to help you farm as long as you can, and actually it's due to modern medicine that we have this problem. We're living longer, life expectancy is going up, and we have to make changes on farm to optimise the way that we work in later life.
Dr. Rebecca Orr ending Paul's report. Time now to look at the headlines making tonight's ITV News at 6:30.
Yes, here's Charlene White.
Coming up on the programme, the West Midlands police chief is to retire over his handling of the decision to ban Maccabi Tel Aviv fans from a match against Aston Villa last year. Kemi Badenoch says Nigel Farage has done her spring cleaning for her following Robert Jenrick's defection to Reform UK. And we meet the Auchinleck Talbot player gearing up to face Celtic in the Scottish Cup this weekend. So join us for those stories and more from 6:30.
Back here, it's time for sport.
Yes, here's Ruth.
The atmosphere is electric. John Mulholland Motors, sponsors of UTV Sport.
Good evening. Tom Stewart is the latest Ulster Rugby player to sign a contract extension for the next 2 seasons. He starts in the front row tomorrow against Stade Francais in Belfast. Jacob Stockdale returns from injury to start at fullback. Ian Henderson captains the side, joining Harry Sheridan in the second row. Brothers Bryn and Zach Ward both start, and Jack Murphy joins Nathan Doak in the halfback. Doak also signed a 2-year contract extension this week.
From speaking to Rory, when he came in, he made it clear where he sees this place, and I thought, you know, this is the place that's going to make me the best version of myself for the next 2 years. So when it came down to it, it was a pretty easy decision to be staying here.
Rory McIlroy has lost the lead at his first tournament of the year, the Dubai Invitational, and he's lost it to none other than close friend Shane Lowry. Lowry shot a 68 and is tied at the top of the leaderboard on 5 under par. McIlroy fell back to 2 under after a 74. He's tied for 5th, and Tom McKibben is 5 over after a 73 today. The Dr McKenna Cup takes place tomorrow. The final between Donegal and Monaghan. Throw-in is 5 o'clock in Omagh. While both sides want to win the first trophy of the year, they're using it as preparation for the National League, which starts next weekend.
You know, a lot of those young lads, that's what they need. They need to be getting there to play in top teams and to understand the intensity of those games and tactically and so forth. And that's what we want to do. We want to kind of bleed as many young lads in as possible this year, and also our current players and new players that have joined the panel, and try and find that sort of fit coming the championship. We're happy to be there. We'll enjoy the game, and as I say, we'll rotate our squad and make sure that nobody's overstressed, but at the same time use it as a really good opportunity for the Dublin match the following week.
Mark Allen is out of this year's Masters. He lost to world number 1 Judd Trump last night, 6-2 at Alexandra Palace in London. Allen started brighter in the match but made several costly mistakes to allow Trump to win despite not being at his best. The Belfast Giants welcome Sheffield to the SSE Arena tonight. It's the first of a home doubleheader against the Steelers. Adam Keefe's side are coming back off back-to-back wins last weekend, but know what lies ahead.
We are certainly going to see the best side of Sheffield, and we've seen them in their building a long time ago, but you know, we're a different team, they're a different team, so it'll be a little bit of a new challenge this weekend, and it's more about being the best version of ourselves on a nightly basis.
Finally, Linfield host table toppers Larne tonight in the Irish Premiership. Larne are currently 10 points clear at the top. That's your sport. Bye for now.
The atmosphere is electric. John Mulholland Motors, sponsors of UTV Sport.
Well, tonight UTV will air a special programme looking back at the career of Superbike champion Johnny Ray.
And it's presented by our very own Ruth, who is still with us. Ruth, what was it like putting this together?
Well, very rarely do we get the insight into a top sports person from here. Johnny Ray, 6-time world Superbike champion. We'll probably never see the likes of that again. So it was just such a privilege to go behind the scenes at his last race weekend and then look back at his whole career and find out not just about this World Superbike champion, but the man who is behind it, the family man, what made him the World Superbike champion he is. So there's lots in it, not just for sports fans, but for just people who love to hear about relationships as well, and how him and his wife met and their 2 lovely boys. So we've lots of access, and you can see it. Let's have a sneak preview now at what we can expect. Jonathan Ray has done it all. A 6-time world champion whose records may never be broken. But after a difficult couple of years on a bike that couldn't deliver, he knew it was time to retire from full-time racing.
There's times that I thought I would do anything right now to be pitchside watching a friendly, watching my 8-year-old play a friendly, instead of being here during free practice 3 with a bike that I'm struggling with.
Announcing his retirement at the end of last summer, we followed his final race weekend in Spain. While he didn't get the fairy tale ending his career deserved, his legacy remains unscathed.
There'll be nobody like him ever again, I don't think.
From a wee country like that, wow.
When he returned home and the dust settled, we sat down with Jonathan and his family to look back on his phenomenal career. From a young boy with a dream to a 6-time world champion, we document the remarkable journey and learn more about his proudest achievement, his family.
It did take a bit of time to break her down. I remember having a boyfriend one time in Australia. I was trying so hard. I could feel like she wasn't going to come back to Europe to work another season in World Superbike, and I think I managed to convince her that it would be a good idea. So, yep, a house, 2 kids and a dog later, we're still going strong, so it wasn't a bad decision.
In the early days, Tarsh and the boys travelled to races with Jonathan all around the world.
A lot of riders would leave the kids and wife at home because it's too much work, and he really did want us there and included us in all of it.
We pretty much dragged them along like little suitcases, and it was never the done thing, but it became more and more normal.
But the dynamic changed when the kids started school.
It's not always easy, even more so now with kids in different schools, you know, playing sport at different times. Just even getting around the table at 6 o'clock to eat a hot meal together is challenging during the week, but we try to make sure it happens.
Now starting life as a test driver for Honda, Jonathan and his family are ready for the next chapter.
Looks brilliant, and you can watch Johnny Ray Born to Win at 9 o'clock on UTV. Now, what will the weekend weather bring us?
Yeah, let's find out with Louise, who's got the forecast.
After a cold start, temperatures are expected to rise. UTV weather, sponsored by the Grand Rona R290 heat pump.
Hello there, good evening. We had quite a lot of mist and fog across parts of Belfast this morning, but it was quick to lift and break. We do have a few showers in the forecast over the next couple of days, mainly affecting eastern areas. Quite breezy as those showers push through, and it will stay quite cool and chilly over the next couple of days. Low pressure continues to dominate our weather. We're in a showery air mass over the next few days. Quite a lot of low cloud, mist and fog at times, and those showers continuing to push in from the Atlantic. Mainly affecting eastern areas as we move through this evening. Some heavy bursts there becoming more frequent as we move through tonight. The winds with those showers gusting in around 20 to 30 miles per hour. Across the west though, it's a drier picture. Quite a lot of low cloud though, with some mist and fog as we head towards dawn, but it should stay frost free tonight. Temperatures holding up in low single digits. A cool start tomorrow. Further outbreaks of rain across eastern areas once again, some heavy downpours there, but once the cloud starts to break up into the afternoon, we could see a few glimmers of sunshine here and there. Some mist and fog lingering tomorrow morning for a time, temperatures reaching highs around 7 or 8 degrees Celsius. Across the rest of Ireland, it's a very similar story. Quite a damp start across eastern areas, some heavy downpours there. The best of the dry weather across western areas with some bright and sunny spells. Temperatures reaching highs of 6 or 7 degrees Celsius with light winds. So looking ahead towards Sunday and the start of next week, we can expect further outbreaks of rain at times, some bright and sunny breaks as well. Sunday morning though could get off to quite a misty and foggy start, so do stay up to date with the forecast. Unsettled into next week. Bye-bye.
UTV weather, sponsored by the Grand Rona R290 heat pump.
Thanks, Louise. Well, I will be back with your late news at 10:30. The ITV News continues now with Charlene White.
From Paul, from me and all of us on the news team, thank you for watching and have a lovely evening. Bye-bye.
Good evening. See you later.